Welcome back, everybody, to week number 10 of Stage 2 of the Quake Pro League. My name's Ketchup, joined by ZSX. And this matchup coming up next is extremely important. We talked about it briefly earlier. I'll mention it again. Whaz and Effortless, they are two players that are just on the edge of being in relegation. This is the final week. They're going head-to-head. There are specific outcomes here that mean one of them is going to be joining Genic in the relegation, and it's either going to be Whaz if he doesn't get 3 maps in a row. If he gets a 3-0 on Effortless, he'll be safe from it.
At least he knows what he has to do. I mean, that's something.
Unlike
poor Genic, who has no chance. I mean, let's be real here. Like, the chances of Whaz doing it are slim. I would say it's probably like a 20-80 split. But I do favour Whaz to win, and he has it in him to take 3 maps. But it's such a hard ask to do that.
Yeah, if you go on social media, a lot of people that are sort of posting on Twitter and stuff like that about Quake Pro League, there is a lot of confidence, actually. I have to say, a lot of people they have faith in Whaz. They do think he has what it takes to pull it off, but the thing is, it's a big ask. This is quite the challenge, and with this comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress. I know a lot of these players in Quake Pro League, they're not shy of being in stressful situations and rising to the occasion, but unlike the first circumstance we saw of the day, which was Avec and Base, where Avec just had to get 1 map, Whaz has to do 3 times that, and it's like that's what he has to do. There's no alternative here.
The difference between Avec and this game is that this has ramifications for both players. So Base, if Base, it didn't really matter what happened, right? The other situation we have in our hands is that, in all honesty, the pressure isn't actually on Whaz, in my opinion. It's more on Effortless. And every frag he goes down, every map he loses, that internal conflict's going to rise. And Effortless is one of these people who notoriously has been inconsistent due to not mechanical skill or dueling capabilities, but personality and the mental game. He's someone that we've seen could just drop off because of potential tilt or whatever it is. And so this is something that is a big challenge for him, and if he overcomes Whaz here, even though he only has to win 1 map, I still think it's a major victory.
The scariest position for Effortless will be if he goes 2-0 down.
And this is what I mean. If he does, then if he goes 2-0 down, I think Whaz is going to win. I think he has to win one of the first 2 games.
So it's really stress all round, but if you're in Whaz's position, it's like the stress is right now, but if you're Effortless, the stress will simply get worse the longer the set goes on.
Every frag we see, somebody's emotional meter is going to move slightly towards the red.
God, I wish we had like a heart rate monitor, to be honest, because if we are in a position where Whaz goes 2-0 up in this situation, and then it's, okay, Whaz now realizes, no, the wrong way, I'm getting mixed by the mirror. There we go. He's back. He's back where he belongs. Damn, these cameras really do. These dudes help out a lot. But my point is, though, that if Whaz goes up 2-0, it's, oh, I'm doing it. I've only got 1 more map. And if you're Effortless, it's, he's 2-0 up. Oh no, he's 2-0 up. So like, there's gonna be a lot of like energy, I think, internally. With both players that are 1 game away. So I've been told we have the vetoes and the picks and all the good stuff to expect. It's going to matter a great deal now because, I mean, we're talking basically about what the players have to do to avoid relegation. That is the big talking point. But, as always, we are going to be going into Awoken first, Blood Run second, and Ruins of Sarnath. Some pretty standard picks, though. So we have the Nyx versus the Galena, the Sorlag versus the Ison, and then Ruins of Sarnath. Whaz going in with the damage and the utility versus pure piercing sight from Effortless.
Yes, and I would say that the Ison on Blood Run is the one unusual pick for me. I mean, Ison, it would operate in a similar way in which you play on Veil, but I think it's more effective on Veil. Obviously, Veil's not in the pool. But just more of a comfort pick then, I would assume, because we have seen Effortless play this quite a few times. Otherwise, you're completely right. Pretty standard picks throughout. Whaz loves a Nyx. We did see Nyx get bullied around the map earlier today, but it wasn't against the Galena, so the matchup is slightly more balanced in that regard. Interesting to see if Effortless does use Galena in a similar way to Razy with the creative use of those totems.
It's quite scary when we look at the fact that it's map number 1. It's going to be Galena we know that Effortless it's one of his stronger champions, for sure. He's always kind of been really efficient with just the use of the totems has been efficient for him.
Yeah.
This is a map where if you can get in the rhythm of unusual totem locations, you can kind of almost like somewhat cheese a win out there. And, you know, it's not necessarily a gimmick, because if it works, it works. But
it's incredibly powerful.
Considering
that
Whaz has to win, just to remind everyone, Whaz has to win 3 maps straight to overtake Effortless on the leaderboard. And if Effortless can kind of take that map away immediately with what we can already see is an unusual totem, because it's all the way up there on the ceiling near LG room, this could be a taste of things to come.
Pretty tepid start from both of them.
Unique rocket angle though, thanks to a cute little wall jump. But without an LG, Whaz's damage output up there was a little bit limited. Rocket was kind of the best he had access to. But now, on the back foot, we need to retreat.
Well, he didn't take the vials. I hope he goes back for them. Yeah, that's good. They're very important, obviously, for the Knicks.
But Whaz just looking to disengage, and he's done a good job of that so far. Effortless has used that opportunity to kind of just establish control around the rest of the map, put himself in position for the Mega, and there is a nice delay in between the 2 items now, so Whaz is looking to get that first situation. Yeah, staying nice and careful just in case Effortless decided to go in, which he has done, and Whaz is going to have to concede, unfortunately. Wall jump, though, just to make it a little bit harder to hear where he's running away to. I did quite like that choice, but...
Only surviving because he picked up all 4 of the hourglasses. So, once again, just reflecting on how important they are. Does manage to somewhat stabilize, although he desperately needs to get at least a light armor, preferably bully out a major item, because in the minute, Effortless has been able to pick up all major items uncontested. So if he can get a rail here, that would be great.
Part 2 of the totem placement has been put down.
2 rails.
Nice.
Perfect.
And there's the third. The overstack will start to apply. Oh, Effortless being aggressive. Wait a minute.
Thinks he's run away.
Hang on a second.
Whaz, can he get onto it? He's too...
Oh no! That is a disaster.
If you're going to commit, you have to commit. Just indecisiveness coming out from Whaz, and it costs him dearly.
That's the kind of mistake that you cannot afford to make when there is this much on demand for you staying safe in Quake Pro League. That's the kind of mistake, but then you always have to ask the question, that kind of hesitation, is Whaz a little bit nervous about this? Is he second-guessing some otherwise what could be big decisions? Like, who knows? But Effortless is not shy of going ahead. There are a couple of rail kill shots that he could be landing here that he's just not. He is finally going to land it. That was 3 shots later. Whaz is going to fall 2-0 here. But yeah, I really want to bring attention to the fact that, yeah, the totems are stacked and ready to go.
And yeah, somehow, some way, Whaz needs to get those totems out of this game, because you can't have Galena running around with that in her mix, because it's just so strong.
Effortless can just establish control over most of the map, and if he wants to heal up, bam, almost a Mega on demand, which on a map as small as this can be very important, especially when you factor in the Mega. You're quite out in the open trying to take it.
And when you factor in how the stack differential already exists, it just amplifies that. So, as we saw earlier today, Nyx struggles a lot when you are aggressive with her. And at the minute, Whaz isn't being able to counter it just because Effortless is playing out of his mind. Great rails, yeah. And he's forced out a Ghost Walk already, which is really, really upsetting.
Yeah, not the way you want to spawn. And he's going in for the extra damage. There's an element of Effortless actually being a little bit more free-flowing with how he's approaching this. You can definitely get the idea that Effortless, he knows that he kind of has maps to work with here, so he's just interested in doing his thing. There's no extra layer of stress for him just yet, with it being map number 1, and you could almost argue for sure that map 1 would have been mentally probably the hardest for Whaz to crack into. Because once you've got that momentum rolling, and once you've kind of got the ball rolling in that effect, you're okay. You can just keep doing what you're doing, but map 1, you've got to find your feet first, and Effortless is erasing Whaz right now.
He's playing really well. He's hitting all the clutch shots. His aim has been on point. He's dominating the major items, and Whaz has left with very little solutions at the minute, and already we are nearly 5 minutes in. Whaz needs to make something happen soon, but he's just can't make it happen.
And it's all falling apart. Half of this map is just about to be finished. remember, Whaz, he has to win this map. There's no compromise, and unfortunately for him, it is falling to pieces. Effortless is going to get a free Mega now. Whaz using the Ghost Walk to disengage, and even if that rail hit, it wouldn't have even mattered, honestly, that he was able to survive there. Because here comes that 5 minutes. Half this map is already done, and Effortless is in full control. This is Awoken, so I'm not going to count out Whaz until the final moment, but there's just a lot of work to do now, and not a lot of time to get it done.
Absolutely. This is one of the reasons why I'm slightly in favour of a Doom pick over a Nyx, but obviously Nyx is a big comfort pick for Whaz. Just hasn't got the capability to challenge in these close quarters, and he's not got the stack advantage.
No, Effortless, that's just be a tiny bit of information. If anything, just a reason for Effortless to back out, try and hit some of these angles again. Obviously, Heavy's just about to spawn, so Effortless is looking to re-establish control over that. He's looking for a rail, gets what he's looking for. And Whaz again is forced onto the back foot. Cute little rocket jump. He's going to get a unique angle here. The Ghost Walk, how many times is the Ghost Walk being used literally just to delay the inevitable here?
Exactly. It's not the situation you need to be in as an X, and Effortless is doing an absolutely perfect job of controlling the items. Positional play has been great, but those 2 rails are critical. This is the one chance Whaz has had so far to get back into this game. Can he push in for a kill? No, he can't!
And here come the totems. And how many times have we seen, by the way, on this map, that those 3 flames underneath the weapon have not moved? The totems have just existed all the way through.
Exactly, and he's not even putting them in particularly difficult positions to find. I mean, obviously he's hiding them, but it's not crazy levels of creativity just now. He's just done a great job.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful sequence for Effortless so far, looking pretty uncontested, I have to say, throughout the course of this map. It's not the map I think that Whaz has wanted. It's not what he probably envisioned in his head. I'm sure of it. There's an opportunity here to get a frag.
What a rail.
Oh my word. And he has the totems to retreat to.
Oh, that's
overstacked just like that. And now he's got more stack than
Whaz is probably not even going to realise how stacked he is as well.
Oh, the Mega was the saving grace.
Yeah, I'm sure Whaz did not anticipate how stacked he was. It could have gone pear-shaped if it wasn't for the Mega.
That's that threat of Galena. You never know for certain how stacked she's going to be.
Look at Galena's stack. Just died and already got more than Whaz.
And in a better position to take the heavy. I missed wall jump there too from Whaz, unfortunately.
A little bit of frustration.
You have to wonder. Missing, and even if there wasn't frustration before, there'll be frustration after that. You know, you've got just over 2 minutes. Rail taken, just blindsided by that rail.
The problem is now as well that because of all these totems and the way in which Galena plays, Effortless doesn't need to make a conscious effort to get onto the Mega.
At the very least, it's going to shut down one of those totems, but he has to just pull out, throw the kitchen sink him at this point because he does not have time. This is a heartbreaker, ZSX. I did not expect the map to go this way. Effortless just looks unfazed by the stress of the situation.
He's playing better than we usually see him playing, for sure. I mean,
it's more consistent, for sure.
Definitely, yeah, he's always been a great player, but as you say, like this map so far has been nigh on perfect.
And you have to ask the question, is there even anything Whaz can do at this stage? Less than 2 minutes, 8 frags. Effortless has the stack, he's got the totems. I mean,
quite literally needs a Christmas miracle.
And at this stage...
And it's not Christmas.
Yeah, not for a long time.
So, there's your answer, folks.
Unfortunate to see it go the way it did. That's going to be the important part, I suppose, of this series. You know, figuring out who is going to be in the threat of relegation. Effortless now going to get a nice little chunk of points ahead, which is not what Whaz needed. Whaz needed to both get himself points and prevent Effortless from getting any. And that is not how this map has gone. Whaz just hasn't been able to find his flow. The Ghost Walk has been nigh non-existent. It's simply just delayed the inevitable frag that he's going to lose eventually because he's just too low. The rails, particularly the rails from Effortless, have been really tidy on this map, and he's just been the better player for this 10 minutes.
Yes, that's a perfect summary. Overall damage output from Effortless has been high. Every time these two have fought, he's come out pretty much on top. Maintained almost perfect control for about 6 or 7 minutes of the map, and when you're a Nyx and you're not going to get anything, you are in a lot of trouble, particularly if you're not hitting your shots. So very, very little Whaz could have done at the end of the day.
Waste the time, Effortless. Waste those precious seconds. Whaz now looking to just get what he can. He's getting fragged now, but it doesn't matter. He's too far gone, unfortunately.
Too little, too late, yep.
Now, does this mean Whaz is guaranteed to be relegated? No, of course not. But this does mean now that his battle at the Stage 2 finals is going to simply begin at relegation. He can't even look at the bracket at this point. And that's the way it is. Effortless will be safe. Whaz, unfortunately, is not safe.
Big sigh of relief, I imagine, from Effortless after that map. He deserves it.
He played well.
I like that skin.
It's quite a popular skin. You see a lot of Galena players rock the sort of pink and turquoise.
Yeah.
Light blue. Not quite turquoise, is it? It's like a light blue.
Baby blue.
Baby blue. Baby pink and baby blue is probably the bubblegum Galena. But, yeah, I mean, well done for Effortless. He was able to just play a strong, solid game of Galena, and when she has a good game on this map, it's very hard to slow her down. The stack, you can never really fully know how stacked she is, unless you know where her totems are and when she's likely to run near them.
Yeah.
And then Whaz just, I didn't really feel like Whaz had presence at any point in this map. He was kind of non-existent, really.
I was about to say the same. It just had no, and it was more credit to Effortless than Whaz, but he had no opportunity to impose himself. And so the game plan was executed almost perfectly by Effortless, and because of that, it was reflected in the scoreline.
Absolutely. And that's only one map. We have 2 more maps to go. This is going to be more for just to complete the cycle, I suppose, as we are now on week 10. And obviously you still get points. This isn't going to shut down players' ability to get points. On the contrary, that's why it's going to be hard, because Effortless now, at the very least, is getting himself some points for that map win. So that's the worst case scenario. Whaz couldn't afford a single point in the favour of Effortless, and unfortunately that is how the cookie crumbles. But it's good for Effortless, and he can feel good about that. He has 2 more maps to get through, and then he can start grinding for Poland.
Yeah, as you said, it's not the end of the world for Whaz, so just think he can recoup and regroup, should I say, and get on with what he needs to do.
So we're going into the next set of maps now, which, I mean, at this point now we kind of know how relegation is going to go. This is more of a, okay, we're going to just complete the business as usual, more so. And it's just about trying to see if Effortless can get, kind of similar really to the Avex situation. You've managed to get the result you're after. Can you now just keep that confidence all the way through? Ending it with a 3-0 must feel good. Whaz, understandably, probably won't be feeling too good right now, because that's, I mean, it's quite a blow. You know, he had a tall order. He did have a tall order at the very beginning, but didn't quite manage to reach what he was looking for. And it was a one-sided map too, so it's quite a bummer.
Yeah, agree on all counts. I personally imagined Whaz would come out swinging a lot harder than he did, and did anticipate probably a 2-1 for Whaz. No disrespect to Effortless, I just felt that's the way the cookie was going to crumble. And now, as you say, it's about him seeing just to get something on the board to make himself feel a little bit better about what's gone on today.
Well, we had a little bit of a question mark about Eisen pick there from Effortless.
I did.
That's going to work out, but Whaz, quite comfortable with the saw lag. We've seen it many times before.
It would be a shame now if Whaz went on to win 2-1 following that.
Depending on how the rest of the 2 maps go, you would almost raise the question of, was that one first map like too much pressure? You know, was it too much of a task? You would think that first map would have been the trickiest to win, because there's just so much ahead of what you have to focus on here. But
yeah, the first map was always going to be the most pivotal, as you say, and that's the one with the biggest pressure. If you manage to get that on the board, then suddenly the pressure is most definitely on Effortless. Good frag coming out from Effortless, catching Whaz off guard as he misses that rail. Always a great time to capitalize on your opponent if they miss a rail like that.
That one hurt. Get himself a few more rockets though in the turret. Some of that all-important information. Whaz getting hit by quite a few. Effortless very weak, and the LG pushing forward. Whaz loses again. Was so close to making that a 1-1. Effortless, he's been looking good today, I gotta say.
Yeah, really good. Aim is on point. Nice use of the turret in the corridor.
Rail's going to hit its mark too. Was probably expecting that rail to be a kill shot, hence the push, but Whaz scored the frag, has to go to these small bubbles because he is very weak. Not really in a position to fight. Oh my word.
Pretty low. Misses everything, unfortunately.
This way, Effortless. Nah, he doesn't chase it. He's looking for another angle here. Gonna just take out that turret, get that out of the way. Annoying. And the perfect. Whaz had the perfect read, but Effortless just had the stack. It didn't matter.
No, not at all. Once again, Effortless is off to a great start. Whaz with the aggression, this time paying off.
Wow, quite explosive so far, ZSX.
A little bit.
I take one, you take one, yeah? And now the battle for Mega. It's about to come through. The acid spit coming out. Area denial was the objective there, not damage. And now Whaz trying to just optimize this a little bit. Light armor first, Mega second. Can he spring somewhat of a trap here? Nah, Effortless, he's not going to overextend too much here. Keeping his 1-0 lead for now, but Whaz, I think he's thinking about it. Doesn't want to necessarily go in and get the hourglasses just yet, because he doesn't want to make too much noise and give up position here for the heavy that's just about to come.
Yeah.
Needs to prey on a rail in this situation. Hasn't quite hit the shot, but that is going to be a green light to disengage and take the heavy, at the very least. And now he's looking for a rail on Effortless. Unfortunately, does not hit the rail he was looking for there. But not too bad, the reward. He's going to get the heavy first and then the Mega second, and there's a chunky delay in between the two items here. And he can finally get those hourglasses he was looking for. Turret's going to go down. Information for Effortless, who now knows to spring the attack there. A little bit of LG damage. And he's actually going to be going all guns blazing. This is some crazy aggression. Effortless, he's been more aggressive, I think, in this series than we have historically seen from him. He has not been afraid at all.
No, not at all. He's carefree, as you say. And when you see that happening, you get the true player coming out, taking the risk, hitting their shots. It just looks fantastic when it all comes together.
Quite the risk there, though. Extremely weak. And Whaz, not necessarily looking to make a direct chase. I think that's what the teleporter was down for, in case Effortless went the other way round. In this case, though, actually sticking true to his guns and just eluding him just a little bit with this heavy about to spawn again. Who's going to get it? Whaz. I mean, he's in a much better position. The question is, what does he get from this? Effortless can start being a little bit more defensive. You can see it here. He's not so happy to just constantly fight for the main items. Wow, that's a lot of plasma.
It is. But still, Whaz is healthy. And the score is only 4-2. So, slight advantage for Whaz, particularly with that rail.
Oh, we heard the teleporter get used, indicating Whaz looking for that bonus angle. And now Effortless, we were checking him out this entire time. It's just a game of defense here. It really is. He's got the lead. He's got the turret for extra information. He's carefully put the turret down for the teleporter. So even if he doesn't get any damage numbers, he should at least hear the turret, which should give him a fair assumption that, okay, he's used the teleporter, so I roughly know where he's located. Almost like a portable radar in a sense, but Whaz, he's keeping control, but he's not got much to do with it so far.
Nope.
But he has all the audio information. Effortless, I mean, he is a patient man's game right now, and the rail finally hits. He has to sit here just enough to surpass 90 HP. Well, as long as he could before he caught him. Oh, nearly.
Whaz comes away and is very healthy as well.
He needed to just get as much bonus damage as he could. The second that rail hit its mark, like that was it. He had to just try and get damage or get out. So now Whaz, he keeps control for another time. 5 minutes, Effortless. I know he's not going to be confident with just a 5-minute timeout of, you know, the one frag difference between them. That tri-bolt information, Whaz now knows where Effortless is. Doesn't quite manage to get across. But Effortless, as long as Whaz takes the main items, Effortless's resources for getting his stack back up are kind of weak. And now with Mega being the next target, Effortless is pushing in, but he's got to be really careful here. He's not doing masses of damage, and there wasn't a huge amount of damage done after that Mega either. So, gonna trade a rocket. Needs to play hitting that mark yet. Going for the long range double jump, so it's kind of hard to spring that rocket trap. Beautiful rail, Effortless. Not able to get the heavy at all. You know he was gunning for it, but he kind of just got knocked off axis just a little bit. And this might be an opening for Whaz.
Nice coming out from Whaz here. Looks much more comfortable playing on the Sword Luck than he did on the Nyx, because he's able to reciprocate the damage coming out from Effortless time and time again. Stack of Sword Luck is so powerful. And this is exactly why I said I preferred the Doom pick. But we're in the situation now. Whaz able to show what he can do when he's able to fight.
It will be a heartbreaker for Whaz if he gets 2 maps in a row now. Off the back of some champions that just allow him to be a little bit more free moving with his movement. Effortless is getting clipped. Should be able to retreat to a teleport, but he's going to be quite tender, forced to get some of the small items on the way. Not before Whaz both takes the Mega and denies that lightning teleporter. Some opening damage coming out from Effortless with the tri-bolt. Not enough to really shy Whaz away from being aggressive. He knows the heavy's about to spawn. He doesn't want to let Effortless take it for free. Effortless just getting some of that bonus damage. Actually, on the subject of bonus damage, that was quite impressive. Effortless tries to be aggressive, but walks right into a rocket for its troubles. And this is looking a lot more like the Whaz that we know.
Exactly. I mean, it was I understand the play from Effortless, but ultimately a pinpoint rocket coming out from Whaz. Good push again, but it's not in time. He should be going down, but somehow Whaz misses all of his last shots. Very risky play from Effortless. Should not have come out on top there.
Well, Whaz is going to spawn near a rocket, so he knows at the very least he should have a rail and he should have a rocket launcher in hand. However, in and out. But unlike normally when we've been watching Effortless, and unfortunate. He's not in control here, nor has he got the lead. So we're curious to see how he plays from behind in this situation. To get the 2 frags he needs to tie the knot.
First time we've seen it this series as well. So good observation. It will be very interesting to see how he does play because it's much easier to be in control.
And Whaz, he's not going to make it easy. Don't give up as many rail angles as you can.
Well, Whaz is exceptionally strong on Blood Run.
This is the rail.
No, that's going to be painful, but does sneak out. The second one stops him in his tracks.
If that second rail hit, or didn't hit, sorry, you certainly would have seen an Effortless go full speed ahead. But remember, Blood Run being a map that was famously slow for the single frag wins. I know that's maybe not as apparent in late game stage 2, it seems, every time we see this map, but
nice.
The rail coming out, Effortless. Needs a little bit more than that though. Treating, heavy's good, but a minute and a half. That's not a lot of time on Blood Run to get the job done. And beautiful rocket! Absolutely fantastic. Effortless. Okay, I'll slice the air, I'm so annoyed. God, the rockets from Whaz. Perfect audio cues.
Playing the map perfectly at the moment, but all Effortless needs is 1 frag, and there's still a minute remaining. We saw some crazy stuff coming out from the last series we saw on Blood Run, so it's definitely not over yet, and Effortless has it in his locker. But Whaz is playing the map absolutely spot on at the moment, playing the corners perfectly, using the teleport as well. He's got timing on the Mega, and he's done enough to win in the game right now.
And it wouldn't be Effortless without an in-game chat, let me tell you. This is going to be a map win for Whaz, who's just been playing this really well.
I don't know what Eisen brought to the table, if I'm honest. I don't know what you think, but personally...
I mean, it gave him a little bit of information, but one would think that's not really information that you would have had. You know, it's not like you wouldn't have a lot of that information without Eisen, because it's quite a small map.
I don't know if Visor was banned. I assume it was, otherwise that would have been a decent pick. The use of turrets in combat, I didn't see a lot, if at all. So yeah, I don't really know what it...
Yeah, I mean, you look at these situations where the turret starts shooting, you would think the turret in that position can locate if they're near rail, can locate if they're near heavy. But depending on where you are on the map, you would have had that information anyway.
Exactly, and at this level, you generally know 9 times out of 10 where your opponent roughly is in the vicinity. Obviously, the turret can help you in situations where you're completely lost, assuming the turret's in the right place. This is a lot of ifs and buts for it to be picked over other champions. Effortless does like it. Is that enough? I don't know. Whaz played very well.
He did.
That's about it.
It's now going to be a 1-1 here, going into the final map situation, and it will be a killer. It will be a killer if Whaz, in a really clean, convincing fashion, takes the remaining 2 maps, because fundamentally, I mean, you hate to see it.
We hate to see
it. You hate to see it, because he's been playing well, and this really is the underlying point for me of Quake Pro League, that everyone in the Pro League is sick. You know, they are of that level.
Sick.
They are of that level.
But like, Whaz loves to fight. He has good combat skill, and this is why Sorlag suits him very well. Like, it just gives you that buffer stack, but you still remain with the speed and mobility. And so for players like Whaz, it's a great pick. And that's, said it time and time again, I don't think Nyx was the pick for Awoken.
And there were quite a few frags here where Effortless kind of just gets caught around the corner or in a really weird position that you're just not used to seeing Effortless, like, you know, right here springing these traps. Not every time that was a beautiful frag. That rocket completely knocked Effortless off the axis. And the follow-up rail to finish the job, but Yeah, later on in the time, Effortless was taking some fights that he really shouldn't have taken. Or just getting caught around a corner where maybe, Whaz just got a good prediction on where he was going to go. That fight was unfortunate because he did do a lot of damage. Whaz just so happened to hit a fantastically perfect rocket. And but that's what it came down to. So you understand sometimes why Effortless chose to go in when he did. Whaz just had the better accuracy, and he had the superior combat. He would always open the fight with a crazy rocket for high damage, immediately put Effortless behind, and then the rest of it's just another day in the office.
Yeah, Whaz's aim was definitely much more on point that map than we saw in the first game. And you're right that he capitalized well on back-to-back spawn frags. So it was just, he strung himself sufficiently that he was able to sustain for the final few minutes.
Okay, so we're going into map 3 now. And, Effortless was ultimately, regardless of how this series goes, Effortless is kind of like the winner here. Purely on the basis of he kind of won the war in this regard.
Yeah.
This is just one battle of that. But you just from a pure standpoint of him playing really well after the first map that was a complete disaster, it would just you almost hope that Effortless wins this, so that just doesn't have to be. I know that sounds really silly, but it will be a heartbreaker for sure.
Yeah.
But, may the best man win, as they always say. But that first map, you just always keep asking the question of, was that first map just a massive, just mental feat to get over? Because it kind of fell to pieces really quickly for Whaz.
It did fall to pieces, but at the same time, Effortless gave Whaz no room to breathe. He played a really excellent game throughout that map. And so it was probably on par with Whaz. And that first frag, when he hesitated going for the Mega when he was severely low, that kind of set the tone for the next few minutes, and then he wasn't able to redeem himself by the end of it.
Right, so your prediction, though, was still the 2-1 to Whaz. Did you foresee it in this order?
Yes, I did. I thought Effortless would win one of the first 2 maps.
Well, we're loading into Ruins of Sarnath now. Quite different. We've been going on sort of close-range, small maps, almost for the entirety of today, actually. It's been quite an up-close and personal day for a lot of these players, but now we're checking out Whaz first. And this was that battle of piercing sight versus damage, and, mostly just mobility here. And that is some excellent damage, but the rockets hurt a lot. Effortless secures that first frag here with the visor. And now Whaz, fresh off the spawn, we'll see if he can recover from this one. But nice delay again between the Mega and the Heavy here. But Whaz, as long as he's getting hit by rails like that, he's going to have to be really careful. The Dire Orb's down for quite some time too.
It is, and Effortless has a decent split on the items at the moment. 8 seconds, could delay it if he wants to make it slightly longer, which he does. That's them now at just over 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is Whaz just looking for that all-important information, I think. Here's him and just gets a little bit of spam. The goal here, though, is the Mega. We don't want to be out of position for this one. And, oh, my word! Here comes Effortless just flying in, but fresh off the Mega, we have some stack, but it's not enough. No armor. So, Rail City all day. He's looking for more of them. Whaz doesn't quite hit the shot. Yeah, so try and get the rail to miss first and then in and out, gone in 60 seconds. But now this is a bit of a weird position for Whaz, because some of these fights, they look really favourable, and then Effortless just gets that clutch shot at the end.
Exactly. It's a bit unfortunate because it is frustrating when you set up a good trap like that and you just somehow get outmaneuvered, or mechanically you do mess up, and that's the nature of FPS games, where you have a better strategy in certain situations and yet the execution isn't what you need it to be. So,
and even in that exchange, what set up that whole sequence was a nice prediction rocket around a corner, but it sent Effortless into orbit straight in the direction of the Mega. So it kind of in turn put Effortless in a really weird position where while Whaz is turning around, Effortless is already peppering down the damage, and it's set up enough time for that rail at the end. Whaz establishing some control here though, but Effortless, compared to a lot of what we've seen today, Effortless has been not as shy of giving up control. Yeah, we're only 2.5 minutes basically into this map, and Effortless, already with a 2-0 lead, seems to be just allowing Whaz to take the items, and it's just wasting a whole bunch of time.
It is, but it can definitely come back to bite him in the ass.
All it takes is around the corner situation or Whaz to get one rocket.
I'm always in favour, unless you desperately cannot, of trying to deal damage onto items. Effortless here taking an aggressive position in between the items.
Four in a
row.
Four
rails back to back.
We were just talking about Effortless kind of just really throwing off the status quo and not really challenging for anything, so Whaz just runs around and it just opened him up for Effortless to hit one rail angle.
And he makes it look effortless.
Hey.
That was so bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, actually, he might get the frag. Oh, see, that was your fault.
Damn.
You cursed it. You cursed him forever. But that is going to be, all jokes aside, a 1-3 though. And Whaz doesn't have a terrible stack to work with. As long as he's got an LG and a rail. If he's playing the ranged game, it's kind of all he needs. The danger is, you know, if you're Ranger, you want to get a rocket fight in eventually. He really relishes them, but he's got to be so careful with his stack. He's only just barely not railable with what he's looking at here. Is he going to be... Yeah, never mind. I was half thinking maybe Effortless would have set up shop expecting the light armor to get picked up, or at least for him to go for it, seeing as it's only just appeared. But valuing the Mega, just above all else, he's not looking to get some bonus damage first. It's all about just getting the Mega and then getting out. There's a tiny delay in between, well, there was, between the Mega and the Heavy, so he can just, bam, just go and get both.
Yeah, that initial delay that Effortless instilled into the items still remains. And on this map, it means you can have pretty solid control.
Good.
Nice rail.
Doesn't want to teleport. Does not want to teleport to the Dire Orb during rail cooldown.
Has enough time to pick up the light before heading back over to the Heavy.
Ooh.
Effortless gets caught as well. Slight delay again from Whaz, now nearly 15 seconds.
It feels a little bit like Effortless has taken his foot off the gas potentially too soon here. It's not the first time he's done it. He had a very similar game on Blood Run, in fact, actually. And the early points where he has a nice sort of early lead and then kind of slows the pace down a bit. The problem is that you're giving that much stack to Whaz, who has Ranger and a Dire Orb. And all it takes is a fight like this where, you know, one rocket jump, oh, there you are. A couple of rockets, you're dead.
And that's exactly it. You cannot afford to give your opponent space at this level because they will always make it count. And the problem is it puts pressure on yourself because when you're giving that much space to your opponent, you need to make sure your positioning and aim is on point. Yes, if you hit rails like that, that's great. But relying on hitting rails like that and having that kind of special level of aim just presents more elements of risk into your strategy.
Effortless is now in danger until he gets a light armor. He's heading for it. That's the next objective. He was pretty tender after that fight, even with the Mega on hand. Until he got that armor, it was... Especially seeing as Whaz got kind of the rail spawn, much more difficult for him to kind of fight back from that one. But now Effortless has a good stack.
Ooh, no.
Lots of damage on the Plasma. He has to really hope that these rails miss. And Whaz gets the direct rocket. Seemed like a bit of a Hail Mary situation, but he just pulled the trigger, let it rip. 3-4 now, though. Effortless with a lead still. But one frag lead can easily be undone, no matter what time you're looking at.
Whaz could have put on more pressure then, jumping down 10 seconds too early, just as Effortless to spawn, so a little bit of a mistake. Oh dear, didn't realise. Oh, nice!
No! The combo, the 3-piece ZSX.
Okay.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous combo there from Whaz.
That's a great rail there.
That'd be so weak.
Don't peek, don't peek, you know.
Even after a fight like that, he's still very tender. Oh! Felt that one. That rail zipping past his eyelashes. And he's looking for it again. Hits a shot. Whaz has to be so careful now. Effortless is on the chase.
Does get railed though, so he's going to be low for this next exchange. If Whaz gets a good spawn, he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, could have potentially gone near Mega, but he had nothing to fight for it with. No weapons at all, so he may as well have just breathed on him.
Instantly pops the piercing sight, so he knows what's happening.
No, he's just trying to catch sight of where he might be again. Looks like we have setting up shop here. Whaz getting hit by some initial damage. Effortless, but actually jumping down the ledge has put himself out of position for the Mega. He's put a lot of faith in the rest of his shots here. Whaz gets the final rail. A little bit more stack to work with, and a stack. If Whaz hits these rails, he should still be able to put a lot of pressure on Effortless here.
Oh, he's missed the die roll.
Oh dear. Oh, misses the rail. He's out of ammo.
Oh my gosh.
That was a spaghetti fight. A game of running out of ammo and trying to make do, but fortunately for Whaz, he does come out on top all the same.
Yeah. All right. It's one of those speechless fights.
That just happened. But now with the Mega.
Nice rocket.
Oh,
Good combo.
Easy money. Oh,
what a
even
finish.
Simpler. Man, this is looking good here for Whaz. That was cute. That was really cute.
You like that?
I did. I like that very much. I can tell you practiced that. I do love seeing these sort of like unique rocket angles sometimes.
CTF moves coming out there.
That's Whaz at the end of the day.
I was feeling it now.
It's just unfortunate that it's now and not
Map 1, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking the same thing. I hate to be the voice of... I hate to be the one to say it, I really do.
Such a...
Killjoy.
Yeah, you're such a douchebag, man.
Well, it's got to be done. Someone's got to be the enemy, the heel.
Good rail coming up for Effortless. There's still time here, 2 frags. If he gets one now, it's very easy to capitalize on an additional spawn frag here.
Bit of a weird respawn timing, though, between the piercing site. You know, Whaz is kind of soaking up a lot of these hourglasses.
Yeah.
So we're likely only going to get one more realistic piercing sight out of Effortless with the time that's left.
He has picked up the Mega. He has just used it, so he knows exactly what's going on.
It means he got the hourglass.
That's a good game.
That should be all she wrote. But the problem is, Whaz was behind Effortless at the start of the day, and Effortless getting map 1 meant he got points. And Effortless was not supposed to get points.
He broke the script.
He did. He went against the script.
God damn.
But that does mean there's time to reflect here. Effortless. There is a sigh of relief. And yeah, there's no way he's winning this map here anymore, but all the way down for map number 1. We'll consult the leaderboard at the end of the day. The paranoid nature in me is always there, but fundamentally, you know, we saw the fact that it is what it is. Effortless is going to lose the series 2-1. But the fact of the matter is, he got points, and that matters.
That's all that mattered. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, 2-1, we were correct. It was unfortunate that it came on the first map.
And it's unfortunate the first map went the way it did.
Yeah.
Because it was, like you said, that combination of great play from Effortless and Whaz just kind of having no presence really at all on the map. And the other 2 maps were just, you would never have guessed that map 1 happened the way it did with how Whaz was playing the other 2. So I do strongly think there were other powers at play there. Like we can never, most players, like how would you feel in that situation?
Yeah, that's not an unreasonable assumption at all.
Exactly.
But again, it's not to discredit Effortless in any way, shape or form. I think he played.
Oh, he was the best player on that map.
Yeah, the best map played today out of these 2 was map 1. So overall, all credit to him to coming away with the points he needed to secure his place.
And that's all really you can say about that one. If you're in Whaz's shoes now, preparation has to be made. We do know the challenger opponents that lie in wait when it comes to the relegation matches. Whaz will have to prepare for that competition accordingly. We'll let you guys know more about that later in the broadcast as we talk more about the Stage 2 finals, which are not far away now. If you're in Effortless' situation, bit of a sigh of relief. But Whaz, unfortunately now, he has a little bit more planning to do than most other players in the Quake Pro League.
Yeah, that's where the pressure really comes in, because as much as it would have been nice to secure it today, the next games he will play have a much greater bearing on his overall future within this tournament.
It's the stress that comes with it. If you are in the Quake Pro League and you're not in relegation, even if you don't have, you know, you might have an off day. Maybe you just don't have a great day of Quake at the stage finals and you don't get the result you're looking for. If you're still in the Pro League, though, you're still guaranteed that 10 weeks of, well, we're back in it. You know, we're back in that blender. That's where relegation matches really come with the heavy heart, because ultimately someone is going to go. And that doesn't mean they're guaranteed. Like, by all means, the players that are in the Pro League could hold their own and keep their spots against the challengers. but there are some very talented Challenger League players they're out for blood, right? And they're going to be training hard, and now they know who to train for.
Exactly. So it's never a situation you want to be in, but when you're in it, you have to adjust, you have to progress. So that's the way it goes.
Right. Okay. So that was, as always, we've officially hit the halfway point for tonight's broadcast. We have got some more action on the way, 4 more series to get through. We have a nice selection of really high-level matches, actually, that we're all super excited to see. We'll be going to a quick break very, very soon. But up next, let me just consult the old notes. Dewey versus Chain. Now, these are 2 players that are more about just trying to maintain their level of consistency in the Americas, right? Chain has been here since Stage 1, Dewey's been here since Stage 2, but he's made a pretty big impact in that time.
Yeah, it's a new revitalized Dewey. I think we always say that when we see him play. It's he loves to bring out... He has the most individual play style out there, and I think he's always the first one to admit that. He's not the most pleasant to always watch, but he is very creative within his own way, and so he's a player that I don't think anyone wants to play, and that's a good thing to have in your corner, I think.
Dewey does not play Quake for your viewing pleasure. He plays to win. And it's a style that has historically made other players get a little bit flustered and, oh my god, I can never find this guy. Where is he? If there's a player out there that's not afraid to play to 1 frag and 1 frag alone, it's Dewey, but it works. That said, over the course of Stage 2, I do think that style is a very distinct style, and it has started to on top of Dewey playing it a little bit differently now, so he's not a one-trick pony by any means, I do think the rest of the competition is starting to realise it's a style. And it's becoming less effective.
I think it's moved from being defensive for the sake of being defensive to being tactful defensiveness. I mean, it sounds like the same thing, but before it was just, I'm going to hide, and I'm going to make no conscious effort to play on the map, and if you come to me, we'll fight. And then I'll try and run away. Whereas now it's he will actively set up traps and try to deal damage around items, and it is a big shift from the way he was playing in the first instance. And that, as you rightly say, it's unsettling when you can't find your opponent and you're always wary of running into him as well, because it's quite difficult to set up traps, but he does it more effectively than quite a few players out there.
It's fair to assume that the reason that kind of evolution of players existed is because Dewey, he was fully like a retired player. It was Quake Pro League that brought him back in because he just missed it. He missed competing. And Time Limit Duel was not something that he was as familiar with in Quake Champions, because his time was the round-based system. So when he came back into Quake Champions, it was the matter of also learning the new duel, the classic duel that everyone's familiar with.
His playstyle is probably a derivative of that exact format, if you will.
Because you had to play with one life. Your life was on the line.
Whereas virtually every other player in the system, if not all the other players in the system, developed off of Time Limit Duel. Dewey he's like Bane. He was developed in the darkness of round-based systems where you had to play for survival. So it's all he's ever known.
I do find that interesting. It is incredibly interesting. We can talk about this more. We've got a couple of minutes to go away for a short break. But when we get back, we're going to continue Week 10 of Stage 2 of the Quake Pro League. Thanks for watching so far, and we will see you in a couple of minutes' time.